Hello guys, it's Revolution. So in this video we're going to discuss whether or not Broly and Kale, the same from Universe 6's power, is the same. Now what I mean by power is not necessarily power level, but rather the crazy amount of power that comes along with their strain of Super Saiyan, I guess you could say. It was blatantly obvious when Kale first appeared in Dragon Ball Super that her transformation was heavily inspired by Broly's transformation in the original Dragon Ball Z Broly movies. Just in case anybody missed the abundance of Dragon Ball Z Broly movie references in episode 93 of Dragon Ball Super, even the Dragon Ball Super producers have come out and literally said that Kale is essentially a female Broly. But now that the Broly movies have dropped, there are clear differences between Broly and Kale, at least the repackaged Broly in Dragon Ball Super Broly. So we're going to compare and contrast Broly and Kale's transformations and discuss whether or not they are truly the same thing or not, or whether there's something else to Broly's transformation that Kale didn't perceive. But before we do that, I want to know your opinion in the comment section. Who would win in a fight between merged Zamasu and God of Destruction Toppo? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Hashtag merged Zamasu and hashtag God Toppo, accompanied by your reasons why. We'll be doing this first battle very soon, and don't forget that Goku Black vs Golden Frieza is coming soon too. And also a massive thank you to you all. This channel has more than doubled since the end of Dragon Ball Super, and we're closing in on 15,000 subscribers. Thank you for your continued support. Keep smashing that like button, keep lending the Daishenkin your energy. And if you're new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, if you love Dragon Ball, I assure you you'll love this channel, Revolution. Hit that subscribe button and the bell button next to it. So like I said, we first got to see Kale transform into this monstrous version of a Super Saiyan in episode 93 of Dragon Ball Super for the first time. Of course, it flooded back memories of Broly from the Dragon Ball Z movie. Kale in her base is a timid Saiyan. She isn't a warrior in the same regard to other Saiyans such as Goku and Gogeta. She's not a soldier like Cabba, and she's not a fighter or a brawler like her best friend Caulifla. But upon attaining what most people now refer to as Super Saiyan Berserk, she far surpassed Cabba and Caulifla, even though they eventually attained Super Saiyan 2. Now, Kale wasn't particularly a Toriyama idea, however he did approve the idea of Kale. Toei actually put forward the idea of a female Broly or a Broly-like character to Toriyama, and he agreed to it providing they also accompanied her with Caulifla, a Saiyan that he created. Now, the Broly movie references in episode 93 weren't exclusive to Kale. Even Caulifla made a lot of references to the old Broly movies, an incredibly infamous line. But in episode 100 we would see Broly literally smack about Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Now I'm going to be honest, I have my doubts about this episode. I know that at that point in time during the production of this particular episode that talks beginning on the Broly movie were starting to take place. Concerning the Broly movie, I believe it was in March 2017 that Toei went to Toriyama with the idea of making a movie about Saiyans, and of course that movie about Saiyans would be about Broly, but production for these episodes usually occurs 6 months before its actual release, and obviously the Tournaments of Power begun around August 2018. So I do speculate on whether the idea of Kale and her extreme power got nerfed because obviously they were going to bring Broly in the future, but she was literally smacking about Super Saiyan Blue Goku. One thing I would potentially propose was the fact that Goku was simply scouting her power. I don't know why he'd let himself get his face smashed into the floor, etc. Don't get me wrong, I know that's stupid, but I do speculate that he was scouting her power in a similar manner to the way he was scouting Universe 7 participants before the Tournament of Power itself. Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comment section, but my main reason why is because eventually when she would face off against Goku again, her Super Saiyan Berserk power, even in her controlled state, which is stronger than the state where she's literally going Berserk, would ultimately get outclassed by Super Saiyan God Goku, and a fatigued Super Saiyan God Goku at that in the anime. And then even in the manga we saw a fused Kale and Caulifla literally get dealt with and tucked in by Ultimate Gohan. So I really don't believe that what we saw in episode 100 was the original idea or concept of Kale being at Super Saiyan Blue levels of power with Super Saiyan Berserk. Regardless, this Super Saiyan Berserk transformation is incredibly powerful. Now, Super Saiyan Berserk was a name coined by Dragon Ball heroes, or Bandai Namco you could say, and obviously that name stuck because we haven't been given an official name by either Shueisha or Toei themselves or any Toriyama interviews regarding what exactly the transformation is called, but Broly's transformation hasn't been called Super Saiyan Berserk. Rather, many of the advertisements for the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie entitled Broly's transformation, which looked extremely similar to Kale's transformation with that green tint, and obviously extremely similar to the Broly transformation from the Dragon Ball Z movies, Super Saiyan Full Power Broly. It wasn't called Legendary Super Saiyan, and it wasn't called Super Saiyan Berserk. So this has led a lot of people to claim that they're actually different transformations. Now, in the Dragon Ball Super manga, there was some specials that literally stated that Broly and Kale's transformations are ultimately the same. Of course, this came out before the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, but it was definitely promotional material aimed at talking about Broly in a canon sense, because obviously it goes without saying the Dragon Ball Z Broly movies were not canon to the Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super stories. So this is what the special in the manga had to say. It even references the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie in this passage. Anyway, Densetsu means legend or legendary. The new Dragon Ball Super movie will focus on Broly, who was previously called the Legendary Super Saiyan. But what makes him Densetsu? Kale may be giving us a preview with her feats in the manga. Her strength is pretty legendary already. So it's already making comparisons between Kale and the canon Broly from Dragon Ball Super Broly already. And then of course we have a passage between Caulifla and Cabba talking about the fact that what's happening to them is ultimately a power that turns up every 1,000 years, and it's actually considered a demonic Saiyan. We didn't get to see anything about that in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, unfortunately, which I definitely thought we would, but I definitely want to know more about this demonic part of the Saiyan itself. However, the special continues. Bozo means acting out of control or rampaging. The problem with the legendary Saiyan, as seen with Broly and Kale, is that they completely lose control of themselves. However, it must be noted that Broly actually lost control before he even became a Super Saiyan in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. We'll talk about that in just a moment, because it was quite obvious that Broly had far surpassed a post-tournament of power Goku and Vegeta with their Super Saiyan Blue transformations, and most likely their Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 and Super Saiyan Blue Evolution transformations. And in the Dragon Ball Super light novel, Frieza even makes reference to the fact that there's no being in existence that could defeat Broly as he was at that time. Now, that's most likely not referring to Whis, because Whis was just like champagne dodging when he came up against Broly, but Whis is actually a being from the other side. He doesn't technically exist in the same regards to the Z Warriors, Frieza, or even Beerus, who was technically immortal, who became a god of destruction. Whis is from the other side, the Xenos realm, whatever you want to call it. But what I'm trying to say is, Broly became stupidly strong in a short space of time, despite the fact he was originally weaker than, obviously, base Vegeta. And you also have to factor in that the Universe 6 Saiyans seem to be a lot stronger than their Universe 7 counterparts naturally. They've evolved to a point where their tails are simply irrelevant, and they no longer have them because their power levels naturally are that high. Whereas with the Universe 7 Saiyans, they had multiple civil wars, meaning they had to move planets, and then they were ultimately oppressed by the Frieza Force, who literally killed off all the strongest Saiyans, of course, apart from King Vegeta. But obviously in that time was when a prodigy was born, Vegeta, and then you could say that Broly was a prodigy of prodigies, as his power when he was a baby far surpassed even Vegeta's. So basically what I'm trying to say is Kale naturally should have been pretty damn strong, as she's from a naturally evolved strong Saiyan race that wasn't oppressed by the Frieza Force and hasn't suffered many civil wars. She no longer needs a tail to become a Uzaru, and of course that wasn't just exclusive to her, that's exclusive to all Universe 6 Saiyans. So whilst I completely agree that Broly's Super Saiyan Full Power transformation is essentially Super Saiyan Berserk, and obviously the Super Saiyan Berserk title was just a placeholder from Dragon Ball Heroes until we get an official name, who knows when that will come. Broly's power does actually have something different to it, because in his wrathful form, is a Kari form as some people are calling it. I like to call it the suppressed Uzaru state, because that's literally what Paragus said in the movie. Broly's adaptation is insane. It naturally allowed him to adapt to even Super Saiyan Vegeta's power, surpassing it even. However, it took his wrathful, suppressed Uzaru state to match Super Saiyan God Vegeta. What that state ultimately did was allow Broly to stack transformations in a very, very similar regard to how Goku stacks Super Saiyan on top of Super Saiyan God, making Super Saiyan Blue. Of course, even whilst in this wrathful form, his adaptation was still in play, and he eventually was managing to fight with Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and of course that's when Frieza killed Paragus, essentially turning Broly Super Saiyan. But this transformation was very similar to how Goku turned Super Saiyan, so surely that just means it's similar to Super Saiyan, but obviously we've already discussed earlier, it was explained in the special in Dragon Ball Super manga, that this is a demonic Super Saiyan form. So whereas Kale was basically a timid Universe 6 Saiyan, a powerful Saiyan because she's from Universe 6, she essentially got the Berserk transformation, which allowed her to compete with the likes of Super Saiyan God Goku. Broly is a prodigy of prodigies in the Universe 7 Saiyan race. Then he has his Ikari form, and then he stacks Super Saiyan on top of that, and not only that, it's not just regular Super Saiyan, it's essentially Berserk. Now there's not a lot to go on in terms of how powerful Super Saiyan Berserk was, but if you look at the Tournament of Power, she wasn't able to keep up with Super Saiyan God Goku. However, she was too strong for Super Saiyan 2 Goku, and she marvelled at Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Now I'm not saying this is the strongest piece of evidence to how strong Super Saiyan Berserk was. There is no official multiplier for Super Saiyan Berserk. In fact, ultimately it's a power that just keeps growing and growing. But because she fought against many of Goku's different transformations, we can kind of get a grey area in terms of where she fits in terms of power while she was in Super Saiyan Berserk, because we don't know the difference between Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan God. It could be small, as we've discussed in our videos before, at least for stacked Super Saiyan God, not ritual Super Saiyan God, guys, don't take me out of context, or it could be quite big, we just don't know. But ultimately it was made crystal clear in episode 114 that even with controlled Super Saiyan Berserk, that Kale couldn't compete with Super Saiyan God Goku, who was fatigued from his battle with Jiren. Don't get me wrong, you could say she swapped hands with Super Saiyan God Goku in that episode, but ultimately even Shin Supreme Kai stated that Kale was outclassed, even fighting alongside Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla by Super Saiyan God Goku. So for a provisional multiplier, let's say that it's as strong as Super Saiyan 3, even though it's just actually a regular Super Saiyan state, but obviously with the strain of the demonic nature that we talked about earlier, that would make it a 400 times base multiplier at the very least. So Broly doesn't only have his insane adaptation, and then of course his Ikari form. Remember, Kale doesn't have the Ikari wrathful Uzoru suppressed state because Universe 6 Saiyans don't have their tail anymore. He then stacks on at least 400 times multiplier on top of that with his strain of Super Saiyan, his demonic strain, Super Saiyan Berserk, whatever you want to call it. It's absolutely insane how powerful he got so quick during this movie. And once again, that 400 times base multiplier for Super Saiyan Berserk is just a provisional multiplier. It's likely a low ball at that, but ultimately it makes sense when you consider his suppressed Uzoru state was equivalent to Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and then of course that could explain the reason why Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 wasn't even tried when Broly became Super Saiyan. So that's why Broly ended up significantly stronger than Kale. Maybe some of you thought that didn't need explaining, but I think it does, because I have seen some people try to say that Kale's transformation and Broly's transformation aren't the same thing, but essentially their transformations are the same thing. It's just that Broly has insane adaptation because he's a prodigy of prodigies, and then he also has his Ikari form, wrathful form, suppressed Uzoru state, which he then stacks Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan Berserk, I guess you could say, on top. However, there is something Kale did that Broly never managed to do, and that was to learn to control her Super Saiyan Berserk state. Maybe we'll see these Saiyans venture off into Universe 6. I think we all want to see Planet Zadal in Universe 6 and an arc that occurs there. Maybe Broly will meet Kale and he will eventually learn to control his Super Saiyan Berserk state as well, or Super Saiyan Full Power, whatever you want to call it for now, Legendary Super Saiyan, go crazy. But interestingly, in the Dragon Ball Super manga, it also stated that this transformation will eventually self-implode eventually. I thought we'd get to see that in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, to be honest, but it never transpired. But maybe in the future, if they completely lose control, both Broly and Kale, maybe they could be a danger to their own universes. And in Broly's case, maybe even a danger to the multiverse. There's a lot to look forward to in Dragon Ball Super 2.0. Anyway guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Could Kale eventually help Broly learn to control his Super Saiyan Full Power state? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to smash that like button, lend me your energy, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Until next time, Ad Astra.